Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr. H's Hot Pot. You join me today on the penultimate day of our little Christmas break here at Butlin's holiday camp in Skegness in Lincolnshire. Now, I've already packed the in-laws back off to my hometown of Wigan. They're currently making their way up the motorway and leaving us to enjoy the last couple of days of our holiday. Now, little Toby James has chosen to go into the swimming baths with Mrs. H, and it's not Mr. H's thing, that. So I've decided I'll leave them to it, and I'll instead come for a bit of a bimble around the holiday camp and show you one of Butlin's hidden little secrets. Now, of all the things that you could expect to find on a holiday camp, the last thing you'd expect is a Garden of Remembrance, a memorial garden to people who have passed away. But there is actually one here, if you know where to find it. Now, it's not advertised, there's no signpost to it. You either know it's here or you don't. Now, it's located not too far away from the famous Sky Park, which is just to my left there. And if you don't know where the Sky Park is, just follow the noise, because there's always kids on there. Any time of the day or night, you'll find kids on there making a racket. So just follow the noise. And when you do, you'll also see the last remaining chalet from when this camp was opened in the 1930s. Now, I've done a video on that in the past, and that is where you'll find this little Garden of Remembrance. Now, hundreds of people must pass by it and fly past on this service road here that leads to the majority of the chalets. But usually people are too frazzled and they just want to get into the room and get a shower, have a cup of tea and get the bearings. So they're not looking for these hidden little gems. Now, fair play to Butlins for opening this little Garden of Remembrance, because usually the travel and holiday industry wants to be associated with fun and laughter, and people's passing is not really something that they want to be associated with. For example, Disney, the Disney parks, the happiest place on earth, you won't find anything like this there, as if you do take your loved one's ashes and you try and spread them, you'll get into trouble. So fair play to Butlins for doing this, and I don't think Pontins or any of the other major hitters in the UK did anything like this. Anyway, we're now at the original Butlins chalet, which is located at the end of Anchor Drive amongst the chalets, so that'll give you a reference point. I'm now going to whip the camera around and we'll take a look at this little Garden of Remembrance chalet. And here it is, the original Butlins chalet, which is where you will find, set off to either side, little lawned areas with rose beds in them. And this is that Garden of Remembrance. It's not huge, but it's there. I won't go too close to any of the memorials out of respect, but I've no idea how you go about having your ashes interned here, whether or not you had to own one of the caravans or whether or not you have to be a long-standing member of Butlins. You come here on a regular basis, but apparently it is a thing. And as I say, fair play to Butlins for allowing this, as many holiday companies would not want to be associated with this side of things. But who knows, maybe this does bring comfort to a lot of people who have many happy memories of having holidays here. Indeed, I myself am now building up memories of holidays here. I don't think this is something I'd want. But then again, I try not to think about it, really. I'll leave that up to Mrs. H when the time comes. But yeah, I do think as it's a good thing that Butlins have done, allowing this little area to be set aside for people to leave tributes to the loved ones. And as I say, you would very easily miss this. And Butlins have put it in a pretty decent place. They've not just pushed it here at the back out of the way, it's discreetly away from the chalets and the rest of the park, really. As it would be a bit disrespectful to have this in the middle of chaos, kids screaming and things like that. But yeah, just thought I'd show this and document it, as I'm sure many of you who come here probably don't even know this was here, as I had a number of people leave comments and say that they didn't know that this chalet was here. So if you didn't know the chalet was here, you wouldn't know the Garden of Remembrance was here either. Anyway, I'll whip the camera around and wrap this video up, I think. So there we go, Potters. A secret, hidden Garden of Remembrance here at Butlin's Holiday Camp in Skegness in Lincolnshire. Right, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Not the usual sort of thing you'd expect to find at an holiday camp, but fair play to Butlins for allowing that little area to remain special to people who have lost loved ones, who've enjoyed coming here over the decades. Right, I'm now going to make my way back through this chalet area. We're not stopping in these particular chalets this time. We're staying in the more posher ones, or the more modern ones. I think these are the next generation that came after the original one that we've just taken a look at. But I'm now going to make my way back through this maze of chalets, find ours, get myself a nice warm cup of tea, or cup of tea for those of you who aren't from Wigan, and then I'm going to go and find Mrs. H and little Toby James. So I'm going to leave this video here. So until the next time, which will probably be in the new year, it is, bye-bye for now.